In 2022, Ja Morant signs a $193 million contract. He's 22 years old. Memphis has just finished second in the West. He's an all-star, the most improved player, and already in MVP conversations. 3 years later, that same franchise is listening to offers to get rid of him. Some blame a decline in performance. Others point to the controversies. But at the core, what's the real problem? Is Ja Morant a victim of the NBA, or is he his own worst enemy? That's what we're breaking down in this video. Ja's NBA story started at Murray State, a college most NBA fans wouldn't even be able to point out on a map. And yet, in 2019, Ja Morant became the first player in NCAA history to average 20 points and 10 assists over a full season. The first ever. That's when people started to realize there was something different about him. Then comes June 20th, 2019. Ja Morant is selected second overall by the Memphis Grizzlies, right behind Zion Williamson. At the time, everyone agrees it's the logical order. Ja is the safe pick. From his rookie season, Ja averages 17 points and 7 assists. But the numbers don't even tell half the story. What they don't show you is what it felt like to watch him play. A 6-foot 3-inch point guard taking off and dunking on 7-foot centers. A first step so explosive defenders look like they're moving in slow motion. And posters that go viral within hours. Personally, Ja had me completely hooked. The guy was explosive, unpredictable, disrespectful, fearless. Ja Morant felt like something new. When he was on the floor, it was chaos, but controlled chaos. Chaos with a purpose. The kind of player who makes you jump off your couch without warning. And that chaos gave Memphis its identity back. Because you have to remember where the Grizzlies were before he arrived. The Marc Gasol and Mike Conley era was long gone. There wasn't much to look forward to. Memphis had become an easy team to forget. Then Ja changed everything. In June 2020, he wins Rookie of the Year. So far, nothing shocking. But the following season is when things get serious. May 21st, 2021, the play-in. Memphis faces Golden State. One win away from the playoffs. Maximum pressure. And Ja? He delivers 35 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Memphis makes the playoffs for the first time in 4 years. First round against the Utah Jazz. Ja averages 30 points and 8 assists for the series. In Game 2, he drops 47. A franchise playoff record. He's 21 years old and already rewriting Grizzlies history. The 2021 to 2022 season is total confirmation. Memphis finishes second in the Western Conference, with a roster whose average age is under 25. Ja starts the All-Star game, wins Most Improved Player, makes the All-NBA second team, finishes 7th in MVP voting at 22 years old. And if Ja Morant was able to do all of this in Memphis, it's because he was given something most players never get: time. When Ja arrived, he made mistakes. He forced things. But his coach let him play, and that's how he became a key piece of the rotation. Now compare that to your reality. Maybe you make one mistake and you're back on the bench. One turnover and you know you're getting subbed out. You play 5 minutes and you're expected to be perfect. The truth is simple. Without minutes, Ja Morant doesn't exist. Without his coach's trust, he never develops. Without playing time, talent stays invisible. That's why I created the guide, Be the Player Your Coach Plays. And no, it's not bullshit advice like show up 2 hours early. These are real, concrete lessons. Because I've been there. The link is in the description. Anyway, July 6th, 2022. The Grizzlies make it official. A max extension. 5 years, $193 million. With incentives, it can go up to $231 million. At that exact moment, there's no doubt. The kid from Murray State, the one nobody really saw coming, is now a superstar. Memphis is once again a force in the West, a team with identity. The future looks massive. Everything was aligned. The talent, the money, the status. Except we were about to learn that basketball wasn't enough anymore. That the real problem wouldn't come from the court, and that the rest of the story would be far more complicated than anyone expected. At first, nobody really worries. Ja Morant doing provocative celebrations after a poster dunk? That's normal. Trash-talking opponents, miming gun gestures toward the crowd? That's part of the character. It's showtime. It's the intensity people love about him. That self-assumed villain energy fits his game perfectly. And honestly, in 2021 to 22, most people think it's cool. It feeds his legacy, if you can even call it a legacy at that point. Summer 2022. The first warning signs appear. In July, a 17-year-old claims he was invited to Ja's house to play basketball. According to the teenager, Ja punched him and threatened him with a gun. Ja gives a different version. He says he acted in self-defense after the teen threatened to burn down his house. In the end, no charges are filed. A few months later, another incident. Ja's mother gets into a conflict with an employee. Morant shows up with 9 people. According to witnesses, Ja allegedly says something like, "I'll know when he gets off work." Once again, no charges. But it starts circulating. People start asking questions about his entourage and just a little bit about what's going on in his head. Then comes March 4th, 2023. It's 5:19 a.m. Ja Morant is live on Instagram from a strip club, shirtless, rapping, party vibes. And then he pulls out a gun and shows it on camera. No need to draw you a picture. The live cuts off. His account is deactivated later that day, but it's too late. The video has been clipped. It's everywhere. And this time, it's not a rumor. 2 days later, Morant announces he's stepping away from the team on March 14th, the NBA makes it official. Roughly $700,000 lost. Adam Silver speaks publicly and calls the behavior irresponsible and potentially dangerous. Ja Morant releases a statement. "This is not who I am." The Glendale police file no charges. The situation seems to calm down. At that point, a lot of people think it's an isolated incident, a stupid moment, like something we've all done when we were young. He's learned his lesson. He'll bounce back. Except he doesn't. May 13th, 2023, 2 months later. Another video. This time from the account of one of his friends, Devontae Pack. Ja is in a car in Memphis, and once again, he flashes a gun. The video is quickly deleted, but again, it's too late. It's been recorded, and this time, the context is completely different, because this time, he was warned. The next day, the Grizzlies suspend him from all team activities pending the NBA's investigation. June 16th, 2023. The verdict drops. 25 games suspended, 1/3 of the 2023 to 2024 season, without pay, with strict conditions to return. Mandatory programs, psychological follow-up. NBA Commissioner Adam Silver is clear. This pattern of behavior is alarming. This irresponsible conduct involving firearms will not be tolerated. And that's when the narrative completely changes. Because the problem now is that it doesn't feel like he understands. 2 gun incidents on Instagram Live in 2 months. Despite the warning, despite the suspension, Ja Morant is no longer seen as an intense player who sometimes makes mistakes. A guy you don't know what he'll do the next time he has his phone in his hand at 3 a.m. And the worst part? Nobody really understands why. He has everything. The talent, the money, the contract, a franchise that believes in him, and he keeps handing ammunition to everyone. The media, the critics, the people just waiting for a reason to tear him down. Can Ja Morant still turn this around? Now let's take a step back, because yes, Ja Morant made mistakes. That's a fact. But there's another question people don't ask enough. Is today's NBA even capable of accepting a player like him anymore? I'll explain. The NBA in 2023 is a machine built to generate content and international markets. Since Adam Silver took over in 2014, the strategy has been crystal clear. Global expansion, family-friendly image. The league wants bankable stars. Clean, controllable, and it works. The league has never been worth more. TV deals are exploding. American basketball has become a global product, but every product has a price, and that price is structure. Today, one celebration that's a bit too aggressive, one provocative gesture, and suddenly you're an image risk. You're no longer just a player, you're a brand, and brands need protection. The thing is, when you look at NBA history, the icons were never clean-cut. Michael Jordan, but the guy was arrogant, ruthless with teammates. He humiliated opponents for fun. He loved gambling. Did the league suspend him? No. Did they protect his image? Absolutely. Why? Because he was winning. Kobe Bryant? In 2003, he's accused of rape. The case is dropped, but Kobe publicly admits to adultery. I'm not here to judge a dead man, these are just facts. His clean image takes a hit. He loses sponsors. And yet Nike stays. And a few years later, he's once again one of the most marketable faces in the league. LeBron James, when he was younger, he was far less polished. But the league guided him, shaped him, and he accepted the mold. So yes, Ja Morant posted stupid videos with guns. But let's be honest for a second. Gilbert Arenas, in 2009, brought guns into the Wizards' locker room. 50-game suspension. Ron Artest, during the Malice at the Palace in 2004, went into the stands to fight a fan. 86 games. A historic suspension, but it happened on the court. When you compare that to Ja Morant, it feels lighter. The Players Union, the NBPA, pushed back. According to them, the punishment was excessive and inconsistent with precedent. It didn't matter. Because the NBA's message wasn't just for Ja, it was a global message. A reminder to every player, the league's image comes first. And if you don't fit the mold, you'll be forced into it. And that's where the real issue is. The NBA needs players like Ja Morant. It needs his explosiveness, his ability to generate viral moments in minutes. It needs strong personalities, players who stand out, but it wants them under control. Intensity without spillover. Spectacle within boundaries. Charisma approved by the marketing department. The problem is, Ja Morant has never been that kind of player. He's never been polished. He's never been controllable. And clearly, he doesn't want to become that. So yeah, maybe he grew up in a private school. But if he wants to play gangster, there's not much anyone can do to stop him. So the real question is this. Has the player Ja Morant truly is become incompatible with the player the NBA wants him to be? Ja Morant has said it himself. He doesn't want to be the face of the league. He wants to be a villain. A guy people respect because they fear him. And honestly, you can understand the appeal. In basketball culture, villains have always had a special place. Except there's a problem. On paper, the talent is undeniable. A career-high 52 points in a regular season game, 17 assists in a single game, 13 triple-doubles, including one in the playoffs. In the playoffs, his averages are strong, 26 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds over 22 games. Against the Timberwolves and then the Warriors in 2022, he was nearly averaging a triple-double across 9 games. The talent is there, no one can deny that. But if you look at the results, playoff record, 9 wins, 14 losses. Only one series win in 4 playoff appearances. In 2023 against the Lakers, he plays injured and averages 24 points, loss in 6. In 2025 against the Thunder, he drops to 18 points per game, 4-0. And that's where the villain fantasy falls apart. Because in this league, respect isn't something you claim, it's something you take. And you take it in the moments when everyone is watching. The series where your team is backed into a corner and you're the one who has to carry them. Ja Morant hasn't had those moments yet. Or more accurately, he's had them, but he hasn't won when it mattered. And until he does, it won't matter how many videos he posts or what attitude he adopts. It won't change anything. People will always see the gap. That's why nobody ever really went after Jordan despite his arrogance. 6 finals, 6 titles. Even if you hated him because you were rooting for Utah, you still had to acknowledge his greatness. Ja's real problem isn't the NBA trying to contain him. The real problem is that he's trying to play a role he hasn't earned yet. And that was when he was at the peak of his powers. Today, we're looking at a decline that's honestly painful to watch. In January 2026, reality is harsh for Ja Morant. Right now, Ja Morant is averaging 19 points and 7.6 assists. On paper, those are still solid numbers, but when you compare them to what he used to be, the contrast is brutal. In 2021-22, Ja was averaging over 27 points per game, shooting above 50% from the field. He was an all-star in MVP conversations, completely terrorizing opposing defenses. Today, 41% from the field, 26% from 3, on more than 11 three-point attempts per game. It's the lowest shooting efficiency of his career, and his overall efficiency has dropped just as much. And it's not just about the stats, it's about impact. In 28 games this season, Ja has already missed 12. Knee, ankle, his influence on the court isn't the same anymore. His PER has fallen to 20.8 after being above 28 in his best seasons. His net plus-minus is negative. For a point guard who's supposed to be the franchise player, that's a major red flag. But maybe the most telling stat is this. When Ja is off the floor, the Grizzlies have a plus 6.2 net rating per 100 possessions. When he plays, the team performs worse. And Memphis, in all of this, the Grizzlies are 9th in the Western Conference, around a 47% win rate, far from the top 4 spot they held in 2022. The team that used to scare the entire West 3 years ago doesn't really exist anymore. The question everyone is asking is simple: is Ja Morant still the solution? In early January 2026, multiple American media outlets reported the same thing. Memphis is officially listening to offers ahead of the February 6th trade deadline. The teams mentioned: Milwaukee, Toronto, in full rebuild mode. Even Sacramento. Different situations, different timelines. But one thing in common: none of these franchises see Ja as a guaranteed savior. Massive talent, but massive risk. And league executives aren't even hiding it anymore. One GM summed it up perfectly: he's elite talent, but there are too many red flags. Ja's contract doesn't help either. $40 million this season, $43 million next year. Nearly $47 million in 2027 to 28 with a player option. For a team trading for him, that's a huge commitment. You don't take that risk unless you're 100% convinced. And clearly, very few franchises are. On his side, Ja has reportedly said he's open to a change of environment. His agents are said to be gauging interest from Eastern Conference contenders, Boston, Cleveland, teams that could offer him a fresh start. What's striking is how much the conversation has changed. 3 years ago, Ja Morant was being talked about as the future face of the league, a potential MVP, the centerpiece of a Grizzlies dynasty in the making. Today, the discussion is about his trade value, his injuries, whether a team is even willing to take the risk. So what's the real problem with Ja Morant? It's not that he wants to be a bad boy. It's not that he refuses to fit into the NBA's marketing mold. It's not that he's rebelling against rules he finds unfair. Honestly, all of that would almost be understandable. No, Ja Morant's real problem is what he does to try to be what he wants to be. If you want to be a legend, you don't play a character. You become a player no one can argue with. Ja Morant still has talent. He still has moments where you remember why everyone believed in him. Sequences. Plays that remind you the potential is still there, somewhere. But flashes aren't enough anymore. Ja Morant is only 26 years old. He still has time. He still has the physical tools. He still has everything needed to turn things around and write a different story. But time is starting to work against him. And every season without real results makes the road back a little harder. So will Ja Morant bounce back? Honestly, I don't know. What about you? If you've got an opinion, drop it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and boost it if you enjoyed it. It really supports my work. And remember, the 30-page guide about dealing with your coach is in the description.